Can we do a quick recap of the Bill of Rights we've covered?
Sure. We've discussed the First Amendment and all of its freedoms it affords everyone, as well as Amendments 4, 5, 6, and 8, which protect those accused of crimes.
So that leaves Amendments 2, 3, 7, 9, and 10.
Yes, but these amendments speak to different rights, so they can't really be grouped together. But nonetheless, all very important.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's dig in.
So, Amendments 2, 3, and 7 were a result of the American colonists' experiences under English rule.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Very good. The Second Amendment, something we still very much discuss today. But when James Madison proposed this amendment, the Founding Fathers intended that the people have a right to be armed for duty in the militia and for their own protection.
And Amendment 3 was added because the colonists were upset with Great Britain being forced to let the king's soldiers crash at their house.
Yes, but back then it was called quartering or housing troops. The Third Amendment was proposed because the colonists felt that the king was breaking his own rules.
How so?
Being forced to house or quarter troops was a violation of both the Magna Carta and the English Bill of Rights. So the colonists felt their rights as Englishmen were not being honored. It was a double standard.
Yeah, since they had to pay taxes to the king, they should have the same rights, right? But that alone wasn't enough to set off the revolution, was it?
No, there was a lot more colonists were angry about. Disputes among themselves, especially dealing with money, and with trials by a jury of their peers. For example, the Seventh Amendment guarantees a trial by jury in civil cases where the amount in question is $20 or higher.
Are you kidding? Why would they set the amount so low?
Well, $20 in 1789 was a lot more than it is today. But what's really important is that it shows how much the framers of the Constitution believed in the importance of juries.
Juries have a lot of power. I can't wait to be able to serve on one.
I like your attitude. Serving on a jury is an example of practicing civic responsibility.
Okay, so one I didn't really get was the Ninth Amendment. The language used was a little difficult to understand.
The Ninth Amendment states, "The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights should not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people." This amendment was created to answer the concerns of the anti-federalists.
So what are they saying here?
Well, this amendment was created to answer the concerns of the anti-federalists who, as you know, were the people that opposed the Constitution. They were afraid that the new national government would take away rights that people already had, and even though the Bill of Rights listed them, they thought that some might have been left out, hence the word enumeration, which means to write or list.
The enumeration or list of certain rights should not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. So that covers all the rights?
Not really. The Ninth Amendment is considered to include rights that are in the shadow of the first 8.
Shadow? That sounds non-committal.
It actually expands rights, like the First Amendment. It states the protection of freedom of assembly and speech, but the Supreme Court has said this also means you have the freedom of association, even though that word is not listed in the amendment.
Freedom of association means you can get together with people that might have similar interests as you, like joining a club at school.
That's right. So the Ninth Amendment allows for more rights than what are specifically listed in the Constitution.
Got it.
But not only does the Constitution guarantee and protect your rights, the 10th Amendment was added to make sure that the powers of states were also protected. Prior to the Constitution and the creation of a stronger national government, the states were doing most of the governing. And the states were afraid that they'd lose their power with the adoption of the stronger national government. They wanted to make sure this didn't happen.
What kind of power does a state have that the national government wouldn't?
Well, today, they have the power to issue driver's licenses.
Huge!
And regulate schools and conduct elections, along with many others. Remember what James Madison wrote in Federalist 45 about the powers of the national government? That they would be few and defined, whereas powers reserved to the states would be numerous and indefinite.
Madison really put his stamp on the Constitution.
Every founding father had their contributions, but that's why James Madison is referred to today as the father of the Constitution.